Releasing in Australian cinemas on the 29th of February is a film called One Perfect Match. And it's my great pleasure to be speaking to the director of One Perfect Match, Jo-Anne Brechin. Jo-Anne, welcome to Movie Metropolis.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Great to talk to you. And this is a really enjoyable romantic comedy film. How did it come about that you were able to direct this film?
Well, I mean, I had just finished another rom-com with Jaggi Entertainment called When Love Springs up here in Brisbane. And I mean, look, Jaggi Entertainment is quite prolific in their romantic comedies. And look, I was really fortunate enough to have a gap in my schedule, and I jumped straight from When Love Springs to One Perfect Match. And yeah, we shot them back to back.
Okay. Very nice. And it's shot in Brisbane, but it has that American feel to it. I suppose that's part of the Steve Jaggi sort of aim.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're firstly made, for American buyers and for American channels like Hallmark and Great American Family Channel, and which I think Sony just bought. But yes, so look, they're always set in a small American town, but look, they're shot here in Brisbane. Our leading ladies often flown over from the States or Canada, but yeah, the rest of our cast are all Australians doing great American accents, and yeah, we can definitely pull it off. The audiences in the States love them.
Yes, yeah, I can see that is a really big audience for these films. Now, the screenwriter is Ainsley Gordon. Did you work with her in when you were directing the film?
Yeah, well, like definitely in pre, like we had a little bit of a development period. When I came on board, the script was already complete, but obviously we always do a little back and forth. And, as soon as actors come in and bring their interpretation of characters and moments, it always sort of evolves as we go. But look, Ainsley's so wonderful. She actually had written When Love Springs, the film that I had shot just before. So we'd worked together on that. And look, I'm really grateful to Ainsley that she really entrusted me with this one, and we probably chatted less on this one than on the first, because I think she was so happy with how the first one came out that she was like sort of handed over her baby and let me run with it.
Oh, well done on that. And you have a really good cast, Merritt Patterson and Joshua Sass. I mean, finding the right actors to portray this sort of romantic script must be quite a task.
Yeah, so I mean, huge shout out to Ben Parkinson, who does all of the casting for Jaggy Entertainment, a local Brisbane company here. He's magnificent. And look, I mean, yeah, absolutely, because if there's no chemistry between the two leads, there's no film. So look, I was very fortunate that Merritt was already attached to this one when I came on board, and when she came over, honestly, it was just, she's perfection off screen, on screen. She is an amazing human and just such a joy to work with. She's collaborative. She just understands story, and so much of this character is her. She's just such a good, well-meaning person. And then I believe, actually, from memory, there was still conversation around who our leading man was going to be. And I think the buyers wanted somebody else. But when Merritt and I were in Brizzy with Steve Jaggi, and Jaggi Entertainment had just worked with Josh on Love Is in the Air. It hadn't come out yet, but they just shot it with Delta Goodrem. And Merritt and I asked to see some of the reels from that, and we were just, it has to be Josh. And so we pitched in, we convinced the buyers, and yeah, between the two of us, they couldn't say no.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, it must have been quite enjoyable to direct these all these actors because it seems to flow so very nicely. Was it an easy task for you to direct?
Yeah, look, I mean, it was honestly such a great cast. Like we had such a fun shoot. And I mean, I was even just thinking, we were talking about how last night there was a few scenes where up in Ben's office, when Lucy and he have those scenes where they get to know each other. And there were times where we just had to hold shooting for 15 minutes because like Josh and Merritt got the giggles and just like couldn't do anything because they just were in this like giggle fest, and like we all end up giggling, and like it was actually just like a lot of fun, and I think look, the combinations of cast, like I think, Merritt together with Meg as her sister work really well, like that chemistry is there. And then I really love how Merritt and Lynn pulled together that kind of assistant boss, best friend, sister kind of relationship, with Lynn sort of like nudging Lucy along into love. So yeah, look, we were very lucky. It was a great cast and everybody just worked so beautifully together.
Okay. And how easy was it casting the dogs?
That was the best bit. They don't work with children and animals, but I love working with kids and animals. I like them all the merrier. So no, we had some great dogs to pick from. Chelsea, actually, Lucy's dog came to the premiere last night at Flash Film Festival. She was there. Scout couldn't make it, but yeah, Chelsea was there. And look, I mean, I think dogs are a joy to work with. We actually also had a horse, but he's just sort of in the background. But yeah, that was definitely the funnest part.
Okay. Now, I recognized quite a few of the Brisbane locations, although, of course, Americans wouldn't necessarily worry about that. But tell me about finding the right spots, the winery, etc., to film.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we had great locations. Jake, look, he did really, really well because we had so many different locations. We had, vineyards, we had coastal down at Wynnum Wharf, which, was blowing a gale. It was a bit crazy down there, but a beautiful spot. And then the house was out where they got married, was out at Pullenvale. And then, with the offices, we're in the CBD, with Lucy's office, another big shout out to Ben Parkinson, doubled as our casting director, and also we shot in his offices. We painted them pink, and then he let us paint them back to white after we wrapped. So yeah, look, we shot sort of from coast to 40 minutes out west of Brisbane. But look, that's the beauty of Brisbane. Like, I'm not from here, but you can, half-hour drive and you can be on the coast or in the mountains or in a vineyard. It's really, really incredible, the range of locations here.
Yes, yes. No, well done on that. The film looks great. And did it take you long to shoot the actual dialogue scenes? Because getting the actors right in terms of expressing their issues and the ethical issues that are part of the script, that must have been an interesting process for you in the filming.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, these films are made very quickly. I believe it was a 12-day shoot in total, which is very fast and furious. And we had a couple of days rehearsals, but look, I mean, we don't have time. We don't have a lot of time, but I think that's also just testament to how professional everybody is. Like, when you've got such amazing cast who they know their character, they know their lines, they're so eager to bring it to life with everything they have, then like it's easy to find those moments. And when you have to have those conversations on set to run through and find it in one or two takes. But I think also, like, I'm a big one for collaboration and improv. And so, for me, and again, glad that Ainsley lets me do this with the scripts, but I'm always like, let's get what's on the page once, and then let's kind of get what's in our hearts. And we just sort of play. And I always make sure the actors have at least one or two takes where it's just theirs, like they get to do what they want, however they want. And often it's in that then they show me something that I'm like, oh, okay, let's take that and then build and we'll do that again, So like, I feel like the more organic you can let the evolution of it be, the quicker it actually happens. It's weird, by controlling it less, I think it happens quicker.
Very good, very nice. Now, one thing intrigued me about the film, the text messages that are in the film, and a number of films have text messages and so on screen, are actually voiced. Now, I found that an interesting decision.
Well, yeah, it wasn't initially. It was a decision made in post. I think it was because it was quite text heavy, and I think because so many of the conversations happen via text, given, it's all done by email and text. So I think it was just a decision sort of in post, which we did a lot of those voiceovers in ADR, where we just thought it would also, make it easy for the audience, but also give those text messages a little more like heart, so that I guess also in real life, a text or an email, it can be misread or misinterpreted. So we wanted to ensure that the delivery was clear so that the audience didn't sort of misconstrue anything.
Oh, no, fair enough. I thought that worked quite well. I also like the music. Angela Little contributed the music, and that's nicely integrated into the film.
Yeah, yeah. Look, Angela did an amazing job, and I think look, it's a really beautiful mix of sort of some like existing like library music and Angela's, and I always love to do that where you can have like a combination of score, but then for those really heartfelt moments, but then you can also use songs that feel a bit more poppy and like radio songs, so that I think that just keeps it feeling like fresh and modern, and places it in 2023 or 4, yeah, alongside that kind of classical score.
Okay, okay. Well, well done on that. And now I notice the film is screening or about to screen at the Blush Romance Festival. Tell me about that festival. I don't know much about it.
Well, I believe this is its inaugural year. So it was on last night, and it was a bunch of fun. It was in Wollongabba, actually, where we shot some of this film, right near some of the cafes and the wine bars where we shot some of the date scenes. And yeah, so it was wonderful. It opened the film festival last night. Instead of a red carpet, they had a pink carpet. And we all got gorgeous little romance blush buttons and some mimosas on arrival, which was lovely. But yeah, it was great, and I think it's going to be running all weekend, and it's like romance with movies and novels, and I believe some other Jaggy Entertainment films are screening. And I mean, I love it. I think we should celebrate love and romance more.
Look, absolutely. And as you've already said, romantic films are a very strong genre of filmmakings, and there is a really good audience for it. And always that juggling of the actors, of the way you direct, of the script, and getting it right so that audiences appreciate the romantic style of the film is always an issue. And you seem to have it down pat.
Oh, thank you very much. No, I mean, I love romance films. I love rom-coms. I mean, I love to write them. I love to direct them. So I think, yeah, look, I do think there is a risk that some people maybe like, you know, blow them off or think less of them. But I think love is so. I mean, it's what stories have been told about from the beginning of time. So really, you're up against the history of storytelling when you're trying to tell a romance film to make it feel fresh and unique. So
Mm.
I think as long as you approach it like as a craft and you give it the respect it deserves and give the audience the respect that they deserve, yeah, I mean, I think it can be a lot of fun.
Okay, well, well done on that. Now, I know that you have directed a film previously, which I really enjoyed, a film called Paper Champions. It-
Yeah, down in well in Geelong. Yeah.
yeah, what a lovely little film that was. That must have been an interesting early film for you.
Yeah, oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you've seen that one. Yeah, with John Tui and Luke Saliba. Who else do we have? Gary Sweet. Yeah, it was a blast. I mean, that was definitely not a I mean, there was a love story, but it was
Yeah.
more of probably a bromance story. Kind of a man coming of age and finding his mana. So look, that was really fun. It with John and Gary and some big, big characters in there. It was really fun. And also like a lot of local like inexperienced actors, like a lot of the sort of like Polynesian family and John's like family in the film. A lot of them were completely inexperienced cast and they were fabulous. Like shooting the footy scenes with them, the barbecue scenes. It just felt so real. So yeah, like the dogs and animals, I love working with like less trained or untrained cast members. I think they can just be so authentic.
Yes, no, that was a really enjoyable film. I would have liked that film to have more recognition, but anyway, that's fine. You've directed other films, and I notice you've also got a Christmas film that you've directed.
Yeah, so that's another one with Jaggy Entertainment. So yeah, 2023 we did three romance films in 6 months, so three back to back.
Ah,
So Red Love Springs, One Perfect Match, and then the Christmas film, which is it was called Designing Christmas, but I believe it's been rebranded to Mistletoe Moments. I think it was different in the States and here. But yes, that was a good step up because I'm told that of the romance genre in the States, Christmas movies are sort of the creme de la creme. So when you're doing a Christmas movie, you know you've made it, apparently. But look, it was great fun. We had Susie Avermite come over from the States, and Liam McIntyre, who's been in Spartacus, no, Spartan, one of those big, epic historical dramas. But I mean, look, working with snow machines in 40-degree Brisbane heat, that was something else.
Ah, yes, the glamour of filmmaking. Yes, I like that. Just quickly going back to One Perfect Match, there was another scene that or sequence that I really loved, the dueling dinner sequence, I call it, where you had the two couples having their romantic dinners, and the way that was intercut and the way you directed that with the moving camera, I thought that was really nicely done.
Oh, well, look, thank you so much. That means a lot to me because look, as I said, these films are shot very fast and furious, and I think often that means that the directors just resort to really basic coverage. It's just, wides, tights, get out of there. And I don't want to watch films like that. So I refuse to direct films like that. So look, when it was a big risk, because there was no coverage besides this like circling gimbal shot. And everybody questioned me, and everybody was like, oh, we should just shoot this quickly and get basic coverage in case. And I was like, no, 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 it's going to be dynamic, it's going to be great, and it's going to be so much more impactful when you intercut these scenes in the circular motion. So look, it was a risk. I had everybody doubting me, but thankfully it paid off. Thankfully, we've got a great camera team as well, like Fung DOP and Declan, who is just a master gimbal operator. Like doing 360s endlessly in a small restaurant space and managing to keep the framing right so that they can be intercut. So thank you. I'm so glad that you liked it, because that was definitely one of my favorite scenes to make. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's lovely to keep taking risks, and I think ensure that, as we were saying earlier, like treating these films and these audiences as they should be. Like, I think it might not be the simplest or the quickest coverage to get, but I think if it's the most cinematic and it tells the story the best, I'm like, we should push for it.
Absolutely. No, well done on that. That worked very nicely. And yes, no, the look of the film is great. Well, look, congratulations, Jo-Anne, on One Perfect Match. And I'll just ask you, are you working on another film at the moment?
I am. So Jaggi Entertainment just gets bigger and better. So I have two films with them this year, and neither of them are romance. Well, actually, one, look, they're both action films, actually, sort of thriller action. So
Ah,
very, very different. I mean, look, they always have a little love plot in them because, why not? But yeah, look, very, very different. So it'll be a big year, and I'm super grateful that Steve has entrusted me with a whole new genre. So it'll be great. But look, the team at Jaggi, we've all made so many films together. It's like a family. So, I think that makes stepping into a new genre that much easier, where the crew is tight, the communication is there, it's a shorthand, you don't have to work out that each time. So, I think that makes it a lot more seamless to come into a new genre and give that a crack, and we'll see how it goes.
terrific. I wish you well on those upcoming films. That should be a great challenge for you. And we've been speaking to Jo-Anne Brechin, who is the director of One Perfect Match in Australian cinemas from February the 29th. Jo-Anne, thank you so much for talking with me.
Oh, thank you so much, Peter. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, all the best. Bye bye.